This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we're back for our fourth episode?
Yes.
Great. Our fourth episode of Magic School Bus, where we've been to space. We've been to a different country, a different continent. We've stayed close to home, really close to home. We've been inside of someone.
We've been inside a kid. Yeah.
We've gone literally to the throes of space and to the throes of someone's stomach. Where will we go this week? I don't know. Alexis will tell us. Take it away.
Well, yes, this episode has a lot of parallels to my previous episode where we literally went inside of someone, like you said, stayed close to home, and some parallels with last week's episode that you told, Grace, just like here and there, just like some of the lessons learned, some of the general themes and everything. So this week we will again, though, stay close to home for our field trip.
How close?
In particular, how close? Pretty close. Maybe not as close as episode 2, season 1, episode 2, but still close. And it's good that they're staying close to home because we learn at the beginning of today's episode that the kids have actually just returned from vacation.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm going to guess it's like spring vacation or something, because if it was summer, they would be alluding that like these kids have grown and are in a new class now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's the case. Yeah, like maybe it was Christmas vacation, but it looks warm outside too. So I don't think it was like a holiday or winter vacation either. So we're going to go with spring break. They're just coming back. And for the most part, all of the kids are excited to be back at school, to reunite with their classmates, and to learn again from their favorite teacher, and to learn from, especially from all of her wonderful and wild field trips. But the excitement in the students is pretty short-lived, and it gets suddenly interrupted when Wanda, Arnold, and Keisha notice that their most recent class projects, which they worked on before the recent vacation, which were growing fresh vegetables and fruit in the class, they have now noticed that all of their vegetables and their fruit have changed since they were last there in the classroom. For example, in the case of Arnold's tomato, it's totally rotted. It's got like mold and spores and stuff. It's got like a big black spot and is like caved in a bit, and it's very gross and starting to stink. Wanda, who grew a carrot, the carrot's just like wilted and it's not like rotting, but it's sagging and just looks lifeless and spoiled. Yes, and sad. But Keisha, on the other hand, she's not only the most distressed of this trio, but she notices the most terrible of all things when she goes to look at her vegetable. She grew a cucumber, but now she realizes that not only is her cucumber no longer there, not only does it appear to have been stolen, but it appears to have also been replaced with a single pickle in a jar. And so,
this jar just like in the dirt.
No. Okay, so
it's like a cover
I should
up.
say,
really bad cover up.
Which I have a funny joke about that in a second about how like shoddy of a cover up this would be. But no, so what happened is these three also entered their vegetables into like a county fair or something like that, and they all won prizes. Yeah, so they're actually sitting on a cute.
They already
pedestal.
did. Okay.
Yeah. So they've already been uprooted and harvested, etc. And they're sitting on pedestals. Keisha's cucumber won first place. Arnold's tomato, I think, was third, and Wanda's carrot was second. So, they're not in the ground anymore or in any dirt. Yeah, they're inside. And so, at first, Keisha and the other students believed that while they were on vacation, getting to this like cover up or whatever that you're talking about, that some stealthy cat burglar must have snuck into the classroom, stolen the cucumber, and foolishly, for whatever reason, replaced it with something different, a pickle in a jar, like in pickling juices. But
It was
sorry, were you
fourth
saying something?
place.
Yeah.
It was whoever got fourth place.
Exactly. Someone who wasn't even a
Pissed.
student at the school. It's like an actual disgruntled
Like a
farmer who
farmer
like
down the road.
drove his tractor or her tractor all the way to the school, busted into that shit, said,
Taking them
fuck your
down.
cucumber and put a pickle in its place. I'll show you how to feel about a cucumber. They're
Amazing.
not even good. They're better when they turn into pickles.
Yeah.
So, which I don't totally, I love pickles, but I fucking love cucumbers too. Just putting that out there. There will be no cucumber erasure on this podcast. I'm just letting you all know. Love me a
We
good
love it in all
cucumber.
of its states.
All of its stages. We do not judge. Yes. But yes, so at first they, kind of like workshopping this cat burglar theory, which I may or may not have been embellishing a little bit, but that's practically what they're doing here. And after that, Keisha, she eventually does kind of gain some sense and like pieces together what must have actually happened while they were away on vacation. Cause like the cat burglar thing is a little wild.
It's a little far-fetched.
A little far-fetched, a little out there. But to them, it's less far-fetched than what Keisha lands on, what she settles on.
Okay.
Because Keisha accuses Miss Frizzle, the only person with a key to the classroom over the course of this vacation, of stealing the cucumber. Yeah. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, it had to have been a cat burglar. You're right. It
Search
was
all
a
the farmers.
disgruntled farmer.
We're looking at get Dorothy Ann on this. Dorothy Ann, Tim.
Dorothy Ann, investigator.
Interrogation mode. Get to everyone who entered into that county fair.
Right now, we need a list. We need IDs. We need fingerprints. There's no way Miss Frizzle, and like the Occam's razor of it all is like, well, yeah, I mean, Miss Frizzle literally has the key.
Also,
but there's no way, God damn it.
If we recall in our first episode when we talked about Keisha, of like, Dorothy Ann loves her research, but Keisha wants to get the cold hard facts
Answers.
and via investigation. She's our future true crime podcast girly. So I'm like, tell me more, Keisha. Present your evidence in a 10-part series.
And I love that you said that, because those are literally like the personality traits and like the characteristics that those two in particular give off during this episode. Like you just nailed it. We know these characters as much as these writers do already, obviously. Because yes, Keisha really turns into in this episode, we see her turn into litigator, prosecutor mode.
Oh yeah.
And Dorothy Ann, she's still investigating, but she also takes kind of a judge sort of role. Let's balance all of this evidence and let's come to a decision. So yeah, these two, Keisha and Dorothy Ann, might have a really good podcast together one day, perhaps. Wow. It's almost like, are we looking in a mirror, Grace?
Should I put my hair in pigtails?
I should do some natural curls and pull it back into a ponytail.
Yeah, but your big old bun.
Interesting. And start questioning everything even more than I already do.
I know, this is rocking my world right now.
This is actually, I know, I'm really just now thinking of this. None of this is written in my script. We're having a
real life realization.
It's literally a little scary. Yeah. A little scary. We got to find a redheaded friend. Wait, no, I think we have some options for that.
Yeah, we got some options.
Anyways, yeah, we do. So, anyways, so Keisha is now directly lobbing accusations at Miss Frizzle. Very, very unhappy and upset to be doing so, but coming to the realization that, it's got to be her.
Truth
in the rest
sometimes.
of the class. It really does. Tough love, kid. Tough love, Frizz. We're accusing you out of love I see for you. Yeah. So the rest of the class is aghast. They're clutching their pearls. Poor Phoebe, the perpetually new student, is like, you wouldn't dare accuse our wonderful, loving teacher, would you? Which, true. And the whole class is shocked that Keisha would accuse the Frizz of such a heinous crime. But they lack any evidence to believe otherwise. And they do also realize Miss Frizzle, you did have the key. You do kind of have some explaining to do.
Yeah.
But Arnold is particularly offended by Keisha's accusations here. And he immediately jumps in to defend Miss Frizzle against all of these horrible charges and claims. But Miss Frizzle, who she's now arrived in class, and she actually is like rummaging through a literal closet of pickles that she has in the classroom, by
Hold
the
on.
way. Just she's
Like
a woman of many
actual
talents, like we've
pickles?
said. Well, yes, like jarred pickles, like shelves of jarred pickles, and also the like
Okay.
barrels of pickles too, which is kind of gross. Like Ralphie just pulls one out and starts eating it,
Ralphie,
which I'm like, oh, Ralphie and Frizz, why are you just leaving an open
what y'all doing?
barrel of pickles in this
In a
closet in this
classroom.
classroom? Yeah, with like Liz running around him too. Little gross.
Iggy.
But she comes clean, the Frizz, as she's rummaging through this pickle closet, which also sounds kind of like a dream. Again, love pickles, love them in all stages of life. She does come clean to the students, and she admits the truth to them. Not only does she have this private and powerful passion for pickles that the students are just now learning about,
Okay.
but she also admits that yes, thanks to her, Miss Frizzle, Keisha's cucumber is indeed gone, but it is not actually missing. And this only creates more confusion among the students, though, and a bit more distrust, particularly in Keisha,
Yeah.
who
Sorry.
is
What
now
like
like
a
trying to, yeah.
of just like what a wild way to like. No, I did a crime, but
I
it was
just,
for you.
but it was for you, okay?
But
Like,
you're
yeah, is
welcome.
your pickle gone because of me? Or is your cucumber gone
Humor.
because of me? Yeah, but like it's not
I made
actually
it
gone.
better.
I did it better, exactly,
You're
which is like
welcome.
we'll get to all of that by the
Like
end,
just like a wild,
exactly.
like you walk into like full accusation and you just gaslight everyone.
I know, right? Like I did
Which
this
like
for you,
maybe that's what being a teacher is, like to survive. You gotta gaslight those
especially of
kids.
students this young. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you got to do it while they're too young to read to like have the reasoning to
Yes,
know,
to be like, but you
which is
still stole it.
horrible. But
Yeah. You still stole it without my permission. And it's like, yeah,
yeah,
but for the
but
betterment of it and
exactly.
everyone
Not
here,
only is
the
a
greater
pickle
good.
better than a cucumber, but like it's a teachable moment for you all too now. Okay.
The
We're going to
greater
learn
good. It's
about,
me.
yeah, well, the lesson plan. I'm burying the lead here a bit. I don't really actually say what it is today, but like
Mm.
basically we're going to learn about like microbes today and microorganisms. All right.
Oh,
So
this was for you
anyways,
and your growth.
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
had
for
to,
you,
break a couple eggs to make an omelet here, you know? Grow
you
another
know,
cucumber, Keisha.
exactly. What do you want me to do? I had to free a few amoebas to get to the bacteria or whatever the fuck. I still don't know science after watching this episode, but I'm going to do my level
Good,
best.
great.
So anyways, yes, the Frizz has now come clean saying that, yeah, I mean, I did something, but I didn't do everything that you're accusing me of. And like I said, this does confuse the students more because she's being very cryptic and kind of
Mm,
responding in riddles because, yes, she's trying to teach them something here today. But Keisha, she doesn't accept this as like an excuse or an answer to what happened to her cucumber, which she obviously is very connected to here. She won first place, damn it, and
yeah, blue
she's very
ribbon.
sad that her prized possession has gone away. So the phrase further clarifies this riddle of like how something can be gone but not missing by telling Keisha that the pickle that she sees in the jar before her is her cucumber.
Hmm.
But Keisha still refuses to believe this, noting that the pickle in that jar certainly doesn't look like her beautiful first place winning cucumber. It definitely doesn't smell like it. It's got a much saltier, brinier scent to it.
Mm.
And she starts to pick it up to eat it and says, and I bet you it doesn't taste anything like my beautiful cucumber did either.
Mm.
But Arnold stops her and says, wait, 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 don't eat that. That is evidence. And
Hell
we
yeah,
are going to
kids.
need it to get to the bottom of this crime.
Hell yeah.
And all of this, plus Miss Frizzle low key acknowledging that she is complicit in one way or another in
Mm.
this theft, this robbery. Keisha reluctantly leans in and tells Miss Frizzle that she's going to have to ask her some tough questions now.
Leans in with the
Leans
pickle.
in. Yeah.
I have to ask you some tough questions. It's like a
And it's funny.
microphone early podcast.
Yeah. But it's funny because yes, it doesn't quite take the form of like an interview or even like a
Mm.
an interrogation, if you will.
Hmm.
Because Phoebe leans in and says, "Tough questions, evidence, what are you talking about? This isn't a courtroom." And then the class all
Cool.
just looks at each other.
Oh
And you
no.
hear like the doom.
Oh no.
Because, yeah, baby, we're going to court. Miss Frizzle is getting her ass dragged into court by her students. But you know what? Listen, before you respond to that, I must say, and I must
Frizz
get on my
v.
soapbox
Pickle.
here. Yes, Keisha v. Frizz, if you will, is what it turns into. But listen, I got to get on my soapbox here and say, what is academia if not an opportunity to engage in civil debate,
Yes.
civil discourse, and especially with those of a diverse mindset, diverse backgrounds, diverse opinions. And Miss Frizzle takes this goal of academia very seriously because
Mm.
she is happy to be thrown into court or to be dragged into court by these students and to defend her arguments as to why a cucumber can become a
Wow.
pickle and to explain this process to Keisha, even though Keisha is angry, borderline yelling at the Frizz, wagging her finger a lot, and has a lot of tough questions,
Prosecutor.
as she
She's
said,
ready.
to ask her.
Wow,
So we here
I'm
are seeing the
rocked.
perfect
I did.
embodiment of the classroom, in my opinion, and
Yeah,
these fourth
like
graders in the Frizz. Yeah,
this is just reiterating that Frizz is the best teacher in the world.
she's the best.
Like she's just
She's
simply
the
the
best.
best.
Hmm.
Wow, this is I did not see us going to court. Also,
Yes, this is
this
now
is probably the
courtroom drama.
this is probably the first time that in our uh crime comedy podcast show that we've ever been in a courtroom.
Damn near. Actually, yeah, maybe. And I gotta say, I was very excited when the episode took this turn because it was like, oh wow, we
The
can actually
perfect
turn
one
this
for
into like
you.
a courtroom, like litigation episode. We're doing it. We're finally doing it. Yeah, after years on this
Wow.
crime-ish focused podcast.
And
Yeah.
like funny of how much more like crime and mystery solving this show is than I thought. I thought this was just
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a little adventure show up in space or
Well, yeah,
something, but
well, science.
last two
Exactly. Nope.
episodes, full
No.
detective
Yeah.
mode. Now court.
Exactly. And we get
Damn.
it again here. 'Cause trust me, there is a lot of jazz music playing in the background.
Yes.
It's
And a
like
lot of doom,
we're
doom,
getting
doom.
that noir,
Yes,
exactly, that like
good.
courtroom, procedural, litigation, detective, drama. It's
Hell
beautiful.
yes.
But at the end of the day, remember, this is primarily a science show. Miss
Mm.
Frizzle is a science teacher,
This
and
is
this
a
is
forensic
like science
science episode.
class.
That's what
Yes.
I'm learning.
So don't expect the Frizz, and I definitely don't expect the Frizz or these fourth graders to
Mm.
understand how court proceedings work at all.
This wasn't
But
you in
yeah,
fourth
hey,
grade?
they do their best. They do their best, and it's cute at the end of the
Yeah,
day. So you know
darndest.
what? Do your darndest, your level best, and you know what? That's all we can ask for, and I'm
That's
happy
all.
for it.
Good.
So I'll read through kind of the roles that everyone is playing
Okay.
here.
Tell me.
In the case of the missing cucumber, aka Keisha versus Miss Frizzle, we have Liz sitting as the honorable judge. She's
Oh,
got her wig
great.
on and her robe.
The thing
She's
that can't speak or pass judgment is the judge.
exactly perfect. You need a robot, basically, like an uninterested
Neutral.
party. But Dorothy Ann announces that she will be speaking for slash interpreting for the court. So Dorothy Ann basically is the judge,
Okay,
and
okay.
Liz just gets to wear the cute costume and like bang the gavel and
Cute.
stuff. So it's the best of both worlds. Everybody wins in this
Yes.
situation. Tim is the courtroom stenographer slash artist. He's kind of in his
Makes
own
sense.
corner,
Oh,
just
yeah.
drawing things out and
Would
writing
love to
things
see these
down.
sketches at the end.
They're great as per usual. Very realistic, very true to size, true to form. Tim, he never disappoints. Keisha is pretty much representing herself here, and she's like the prosecution. She's the one
Girl,
bringing the charges
never
here.
represent
Again,
yourself.
exactly. Hey, if anyone can though, it's
It's
Keisha. But still, generally, even if you can, still don't. So
Still don't.
she'll learn. Because yes, Miss Frizzle, she knows she's been around. She's been sued plenty
She
of
already has
times.
a lot of lawyers.
She knows. She's like, I'm not representing myself. She tags Arnold to serve as her defense attorney. Here's the thing. He's clumsy, but he's not dumb,
That's
and
true. He did know,
and he's
don't eat the pickle, it's
dedicated.
evidence.
Exactly. Yes. And he's dedicated. Once he has his mind set on something, he may trip on the way there, but he's going to get to that goal one way
Yep.
or another.
Yep.
And then lastly, we have the rest of the students, Carlos, Ralphie, Phoebe, and Wanda seated in the jury. Not necessarily a jury of Miss Frizzle's peers, but it's the best you're
It's what
going to
they
get.
got.
And I think she's so confident in her case here that she's like, I can win any jury over. I've got
Petition
this.
to take
I've got
this out of
Arnold on my
classroom.
side.
We need a different district.
Dude, it's so funny. At one point, Arnold does actually say, like, Miss Frizzle, you don't have to answer these questions from Keisha. You can order this whole classroom be dismissed if you want. It's so good.
Hell,
They really
yes.
get into it. So the case begins with an opening statement from the prosecution, aka Keisha, telling the court that she intends to prove that Miss Frizzle took her prize-winning cucumber and that she did not, less or even less so, that she could not turn it into a pickle. Miss Frizzle, she interjects at this point because Keisha is not done with her statement yet, but Miss Frizzle starts clapping and applauding Keisha, saying, "Great job, you're so right." And she's like, "I intend to prove the same thing. I just love it when everyone agrees."
Oh no. Order in the court. Liz, where's
Literally,
the gavel?
that's what happens. Liz starts banging the gavel.
If you get one
brings
more
order to the
outburst,
court.
Grizz, you're out of here.
Because Arnold has to cut in, like, "No, don't say that, Miss Frizzle. We're trying to prove your innocence." And so then it does get crazy. The jury is like murmuring and whispering, like, "What? Did she just say she's guilty?" Blah, blah, blah.
God, oh my God,
Liz
she's
is banging
admitted
that
it?
gavel. And yes, Liz then allows Liz/Dorothy Ann allow Keisha to continue her opening statement. So Keisha gets up from her seat and she approaches the bench with a pickle jar in one hand and a cucumber in the other. And she looks at the judge and then looks at the jury. And she asks them if they can possibly believe Miss Frizzle's claim that these two items, this pickle and this cucumber, are one and the same. She's like, "Miss Frizzle would have you believe that these items."
She's so confident. She's
so good. Yes.
so confident.
But I ask you, do they look the same to you? And then Dorothy then allows the defense to make their opening statement. So Arnold,
for some reason, I imagine
up.
that like Arnold is like a southern lawyer. He's
Like,
got,
so he
like a
doesn't
tan suit on.
doesn't do the voice, and yeah, like they're all wearing their clothes, but he has those vibes. Like,
That's what
Keisha is definitely like
picturing.
New York City prosecutor, in your face, tough. Arnold is like distinguished, one hand behind his back, one in the air. Miss Frizzle,
The other hand on
I
his
might
vest.
add, yes, exactly. Like goes back and forth between that. Very
handkerchief.
distinguished, yes. Southern lawyer sweating and heating the courtroom without the accent.
Okay.
So, yes, Dorothy Ann allows them now, the defense, to make their opening statement, and he stands up and tells the jury and the court that he will prove without a doubt that no crime was committed and that Miss Frizzle is innocent of all charges.
Whoa.
And then he leans into the Frizz and is like, "Right, Miss Frizzle?"
Well, you are innocent, right? We should have had our meeting beforehand.
Right. We should have talked about this before. But anyways, and the Frizz is like, "Well, I already told you, Arnold, I did take Keisha's cucumber."
And he's like, "Shut up."
Yeah. But I did not change it into a pickle. And yes, he basically like puts his hands in his hands over his face and is like, "Oh my God, we're so fucked." And the Frizz then gets up and she finishes the opening statement for them. And in this, she drops a whole new bombshell of evidence onto the court and to the jury, which would definitely be against civil procedure rules, but whatever, just saying, or even criminal procedure rules. You got to disclose all that stuff to the other party beforehand. But anyways, she drops a bombshell onto the court and she takes over these remarks, telling the jury that although she did not change the cucumber into a pickle, she knows who did. And her pickled-shaped
Classic
earrings.
defense. It wasn't me, it was someone else.
It wasn't me. And I know, and I can tell you who it is. I will sing like a canary. I can point at anyone and everyone. You just tell me when. But yes, at this, her pickled-shaped earrings then light up as she approaches the bench, telling the court that it wasn't her, but it was members of a small gang. And everyone is like, "A gang? We got gang violence up in this classroom?
School? This worker classroom?
Do tell more." And the Frizz continues saying that this is a small-time gang with big ideas. And yes, we've got a lot of heavy jazz music playing in the background. Exactly. And her voice gets nice and sultry as she explains this. very, very, transatlantic sort of accent. Small town gang with big ideas, you see. And this is a tiny, troublesome crowd of two-bit thieves known as the Microbe Gang.
Microbe Gang. That's good. That's really good.
And even though these gang members, they hang out in a lot of places all over, they're really hard to find because, and she leans into the jury, they
all
invisible.
lean back.
Yeah, like, why? But yes, no, they are hard to find because they're invisible. And at this point, the jury is starting to think that the Frizz is losing it. Like,
they're
invisible tiny gangs. Arnold's like,
yeah, we can work with it. We can work with it.
Yeah, like, keep it going. Like, really lean into it. Do not make it questionable that you believe this to be true. So, yes, they're like invisible tiny gangs. Really, we think the Frizz actually might be out of her mind on this one. But the Frizz then clarifies to the jury that this gang, these members of the gang, they're invisible because they're too small to be seen with the naked eye. But every second of every day, they're busy changing the world that we live in. So Keisha again finds Miss Frizzle's claims to be dubious, and she asks her how she can possibly prove what she's saying if this supposed culprit is way too small for them to see. It's like, sounds convenient, right?
Yeah, right.
I don't know about this one, Miss Frizzle.
We need some hard evidence.
And yes, hard evidence is exactly what Miss Frizzle would love for the class to get, because she then announces through Arnold basically that the group is going on a field trip to find that hard evidence and to answer all of their questions about these tiny invisible creatures.
To the scene of the crime.
Exactly, which is a real thing that they do. There are some, which I love too. Like if you read like true crime books or things like even fictional accounts or like autobiographical accounts of different court cases. I always love the ones like
when they actually take them there.
Like, exactly. Like I think it was like an Aaron Brockovich that happened. Because you like can't bring some natural resource into a courtroom. And it's just so cute. It's like a jury field trip, and like they have very strict rules that they have to follow when they're there. They can't just, like they have limitations of what they can see. It's just so fascinating to me, like in high profile cases like that, like when juries do have to do that.
Actually effective, like when you do it and why. Yeah,
exactly. And I feel like I'm not even going to say that because I'm going to jinx myself. I would imagine that jury members love the opportunity to like leave the courtroom and to like go out in the open and like look at things and kind of see the case from a different angle. So for me, I just like, I get excited for them that they get to do that.
Oh, it's like you're a lawyer.
And yes, that is exactly what happens in this episode. And so it made me love it even more.
Good.
So all the students and the Frizz pack into the Magic School Bus, and as they are loading up and buckling in and everything, Arnold is up at the front of the bus continuing his defense, laying out the purpose of this jury field trip and this, what I'll call an evidentiary hearing. They're going out to find the evidence, look at the evidence and all of that, if you will. And he tells them that this trip will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the Frizz is indeed telling the truth, and that the members of the Microbe Gang actually exist, and that they do have the ability to turn a cucumber into a pickle. The jury then applauds Arnold's statement, which pisses Keisha off, and she's like, hey, no applauding until after the final verdict is read.
Keisha, dismiss those jurors.
I know this is
Make
not
your decisions
fair.
right now.
Mistrial. Immediate. Like, nah, immediate.
The second
you need a whole new jury
collapse.
selection. Yeah. And yes, the Frizz, though, she hears this applause and she knows again, like, oh, I'm in the clear here. I've got them already. So she revs up the Magic School Bus and presses some buttons that, you guessed it, shrink the bus down to a microscopic size, much like in episode 2, before flying the bus, which is now also a plane, back into the classroom. So yes, this field trip is staying close to home because they are staying in the classroom, which I realize is probably an easy way for Miss Frizzle to get away with a lot of this stuff. Yeah. Like in my last episode too, like they didn't actually even leave the school. They technically didn't even go. Like their field trip was in the classroom. So you don't need a permission slip for that.
Yeah. Where's in class?
Yeah.
None
It's
of
like
us left.
space, I get it. And yeah, the rainforest, that's probably
Yeah,
the
might have not
diciest one
been
we've
close to home.
seen. So
Might
yeah,
have been
yours have been
problematic.
the polar opposite. Very, very problematic and concerning. Not that this is not problematic and concerning, but like space
But at least
and
they're in the
Amazon, I assume
classroom.
rainforest, pretty concerning. Yeah. So yeah, they're back in the classroom. They've shrunken down to a microscopic size. And now that they're in here, the students in the frizz and the school bus, of course,
Hmm.
they stop at a few different spots to further investigate Miss Frizzle's claims of some small time active gang
Gang.
hiding out in the tiny corners of their class and like
Great. Safe.
wreaking havoc when they're away. Yeah. So the first stop in this trip is to the lost and found box where they come face to face. I'm just going to kind of run through them quickly because again,
Yeah.
there's so much going on here and we want to stick to the facts, the true investigation of it all,
Yeah.
right?
Cut out the fluff.
Yeah. So they come face to face with, first of all, some spider mites in this lost and found
Oh.
box, which, yeah, is like gross, but apparently spider mites are everywhere, especially for people like me. And I assume like you too, Grace, who have like a lot of plants and things like that. They can sometimes get
Great.
on the underside of your plants. You love them. I
Yeah.
mean, I think
Right.
they're more harmful to plants than they are to us, obviously,
Okay.
but like, it's just interesting to see them in this episode because they are actually as big as, if not bigger than the kids. So like to give you a size
Okay.
of how small these kids are, like
Yeah.
a penny is towering over them and it takes multiple of them to like push it from not falling on top of them.
Okay.
So very, very microscopic, very tiny. But after they run into these spider mites which Keisha just kind of brushes off like, come on, I see spider mites all the time. Like, yeah, they're bigger than when I usually see them, but you're not impressing me with your
This isn't a
argument
gang.
thus far. Exactly,
Yeah.
Miss Frizz. But shortly after that, they do encounter who Miss Frizzle IDs as the first member of this microbe gang. A member of the phylum, the largest phylum of fungi, I should say. So one of the
Okay.
most like commonly occurring fungi,
Uh-huh.
the ascomycete or
Okay.
ascomycota. Yes. And this, like I said, the largest phylum of fungi includes, per Wikipedia, truffles, baker's yeast, things like that. And it's
Okay.
actually a very commonly occurring fungi that like is in everyday life for humans that we use to ferment bread. We use it to make alcoholic beverages. It's used
Cool.
to like help ferment cheese and stuff like that. And I think like some
Everything
of
we
the whole
love.
cheese, basically everything. So this is a good fungus for the most part, if you will.
Yeah.
As good, I guess, as fungi can be for
They're
us.
pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. And so as the ascomycete begins to literally reproduce in front of them, because it is also asexual, so we do just kind of see it like blotting like new, little things out of it. And like Arnold's holding it in his hands, like showing it to the class.
Uh-huh.
So as we see that, Miss Frizzle explains to the class that, believe it or not, ascomycete grows nearly everywhere. Like I just explained before how often we use it. And so Arnold then announces to the class that this is compelling proof that provides for Miss Frizzle's defense. He says that if something is so small that you have to shrink down to this size to see it, that makes it an invisible member of this microbe gang, proving Miss Frizzle's point, just as she said. And he's like, I rest my case. This is all we need to prove that this gang
Let's
exists.
get back to
Told
normal
ya.
size, right?
Yeah, this is fucking creepy. These spider mites are kind of creeping me out. But Keisha, she cuts him off and she's like, well, hold on. No. Just because there are a bunch of little tiny creatures here, it doesn't mean that they're everywhere. And it certainly doesn't mean that they turn my cucumber exactly into a pickle. So Arnold's like, fine, I hear ya. You pick a place then, any place you want in this classroom. We'll go there and I guarantee you we will find invisible creatures in microbes gang anywhere we end up. So name it, name your place. And after a little bit of like back and forth, randomly their next destination she decides will be Liz's face. They just want to go like sit on like, which I shouldn't say it like that.
Yeah,
they want to go.
They are going to go look at Liz's face.
They're
going to
go look at Liz's face because Liz did not shrink down with them. She's still like waiting for them to get back from this trip.
This is tampering with the judge.
Exactly. Yeah. That's not fair. The judge can't have that bias. Exactly. Yeah. But this ends up being a very short stop. Like they all hop back into the bus and they fly over onto Liz's nose. Because basically, as soon as they land, they do see another small member of the microbe gang, just like crawling
Say
around
right.
on Liz's snout. It's like a little like worm mite type thing, which is
Oh,
gross, whatever. But Liz, she swats it away. And then in doing so, she also is trying to swat the bus away because it's
Yeah.
so small, she can't tell what it is and thinks that it is also some little gross bacteria just crawling on her.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's a short stop because the magic school bus has to, almost as quickly as they landed, fly the fuck out of there to avoid being smashed by one of Liz's claws.
This makes sense.
And having to flee Liz's snout in a hurry, they find themselves then crash landing into the water dish of a nearby cage of a creature that happens to be taken care of by this class.
Alexis, it's been so long.
You know it, damn it,
Since
Grace.
you
It's
found
been
them.
so long since I've talked about hamsters or rodents on this podcast. And
Gerbils.
and
When's the last time we saw one? Are we in a what are they called again? What are their habitats called?
a habit trail. Yes.
Trail.
It's not quite a habit trail, unfortunately. It's
Okay,
just a
okay.
cage with, I guess there is maybe a habit trail inside of the cage. There was like some little fun thing for the hamster to play,
God damn it.
in. Yeah. But Grace, yeah, I literally have in all capital letters here in my
Hamster.
script. Of course, I found a hamster episode, Grace, with 3 exclamation points.
Right, we've never seen this hamster before. Liz erases the hamster from every episode. Like
She does.
that's
She
why
does.
Liz
Like,
is
why do you
always
need a
with the
hamster when you have
producer.
Liz? Yeah,
like,
she's like,
cut it
no,
out.
I'm the cute animal here.
I'm the
Okay.
classroom pet.
Yeah, no one else. But no, apparently they have 2.
Wow,
And I
tell me
found
about
it,
this
Grace.
hamster. Of
I
course
mean,
you
that's
did.
it. That's it.
Do we
That's
see
the
it?
only line. Yeah, we do at one point, but like
cute?
in a menacing sense. It is cute. It's cute, but it's
In a
so much
menacing
bigger than
sense.
them. Yeah, because they're like microscopic and they've landed in
Oh.
this
They're
bowl, which
like,
I'll talk more about in a second. Yeah. And the
damn it.
hamster like licking water out of the bowl or drinking water is creating these
tsunami.
massive tidal waves. Yeah. That are like
I knew hamsters were
crashing into the
dangerous.
bus. And yeah, they have to like fly out of there because they're like facing a hamster kaiju, like this massive monster
for your
towering
shirt.
over them. Yeah. Yeah, perfect.
hamster.
This is the size of the hamster to them. But yeah, so they crash land into this water dish. And while they're in there, they take a closer look at the water and they notice very disgustingly, as adorable as the hamster is, all of these disgusting looking creatures swimming around in the water dish and like feeding on each other in the water bowl and everything. Yeah, it's gross. And Miss Frizzle points out 2 of these specific types of creatures that we see here. One of them she describes as fat and juicy, and she says that those are amoeba. And the other she describes as like hairy looking hot dogs. And those she also gross. Again, these are like microscopic floating around in the water. And these she says are paramecium. Now, I'm familiar with the word amoeba, but I don't really know what it is. Paramecium was new to me. So one sentence on each of them from Wikipedia, not to explain what an amoeba is per se, but it seems like they're kind of not totally describing it correctly here. Miss Frizzle isn't, because per Wikipedia, amoeba isn't like its own, a taxonomic group is the word, I guess. Like it's not its own type of organism, like mammals or like elephants or anything like that. Like it's something that is actually found in organisms. Like I think it more so describes like the shape or function of a cell in an organism rather than being an organism itself. So I was like, well, what's that doing here? But whatever, I don't know. That's the most I can say. And I'm not going to question Miss Frizzle because I don't want to be in court next against her. And then on the other hand, though, paramecium is, I think, an actual bacteria that's like widespread in freshwater, brackish water, like marine environments, and is common in like stagnant ponds and like water basins and stuff like that. So that's real. And for whatever reason, these amoeba are eating the paramecium in this episode. Do they do that in real life? I don't know, but I'm not going to question Miss Frizzle.
Who knows?
So the Frizz she then tells the students that these creatures are indeed more members of the microbe gang.
Okay.
And she tells them this just as these creatures begin to violently attack the bus and swarm the bus and start to, or at least attempt to attack the children as well.
Oh, great. Okay.
And so they again, as the hamster is also coming in to drink more water and sending these waves over them, it's just chaos from all angles now.
Yeah.
And they decide to get the hell out of there. But before they actually soar out of the water, they realize that now that they've seen members of the microbe gang in multiple places throughout the classroom, right? In the lost and found box, on Liz's face, and now here in the hamster dish, Arnold's like, hey, I'm ready to call this case closed. Let's wrap up this field trip before we die, which we're about to do, by the way.
Yeah.
Seems to me like this microbe gang is a real thing and it's all over the place, meaning it's probably also on our vegetables or something too, Keisha. That explains us all. But Keisha raises a good question before Arnold can shut this whole case down. She says, if these invisible gang members are in the hamster's water, and they aren't changing the hamster into something else, how does that explain how they changed my cucumber into a pickle?
Yeah, you're just pointing and saying invisible things exist, but you're not connecting it.
Exactly, but you're not saying invisible things committed the crime. It's cause or correlation is not causation, Arnold.
Exactly.
We need the causation here. We need the causation. Exactly, at best. All right.
Yeah, it's
at
even.
Best. Even. Jeez, Arnold. Where'd you get your law degree? Yes.
As if.
As if. So Arnold, he accepts Keisha's argument here. He's like, fine, you're right. Maybe I'm just trying to not die right now and get us out of here, but fine, we can go somewhere else. And he looks over at their vegetables on the pedestal, and he realizes that the next place that they should go, and then, is to his tomato, which clearly is grossly rotting and looks like something has gone wrong with it. And he knows that that is where they will be able to find an answer to all of their questions now about how these invisible organisms are impacting their foods.
Okay.
So they fly the magic school bus out of this water dish, and they fly it on over to these vegetables, and they land right on this stinky, rotten tomato that is like smushing underneath them. And you've got the disgusting like fumes coming out of it and all sorts of stuff. But once they land on the tomato, they realize that to really get a good look of all of the invisible gang members on the tomato, they've got to shrink down even more. So they go fully microscopic at this point. And once they do, they see that, fungus is everywhere. This place has been taken over. They're in like a wet crater in this tomato that like the bus is sinking into. It's disgusting. And since it's so wet, Miss Frizzle, she instructs the students to put on their scuba suits and hop on out.
Oh no, that's nasty.
So that they can not only like step through and walk through all this mush, but like, go ahead, swim around in it a little bit. Really get a good sense of what's going on down there. What caused Arnold's tomato to rot so horrendously? So the group, they approach a growing and quickly spreading spore of fungus that is just like slowly taking over the surface of the tomato. And we see like it's stretching this like system of black roots almost of just like fungus throughout the tomato, and is like growing and expanding more and more, dropping gray, dark spores along its path that are just like kind of poofing open and like extending the roots even more.
Yeah.
And so the Frizz, she tells the students not to worry about all of this as the fungus is like pretty quickly creeping closer and closer to them, though, and to the bus. It is like, it's fine. It's natural. Actually, I think that is like what she says. She's like, it's a natural step in, or it's a step in nature. And the fungus is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing.
True.
And I forget which student asked this, but they're like, but what if it gets to us? Like, does it want to eat us like it's eating this tomato?
We're not natural and supposed to be here.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, we're not part of nature in this scenario.
In a sense, yeah.
Yes. So the Frizz further explains to the students then again to calm them down, like, it's cool. Like, these are just more members of Microbe's gang. And as I've said with the rest of them, they can only be viewed when shrunken down to this size, or as I think Phoebe asks, through a ridiculously high-powered microscope. And so Keisha, well, she's beginning now to see the light and to understand, like, okay,
She's
we've
like,
seen
shit.
them in the Lost and Found.
We're gonna have to settle.
Shit, fuck.
Gotta save my
She's like
reputation.
calling their insurance company right now, like, okay, guys, I've got some bad news.
Change of
This
plans.
is, yeah. What is the limit on our settlement insurance here? Because
we're
we might have
pivoting.
to start, real quick. My case is falling through the cracks of this rotted tomato very quickly.
Yeah, it's sinking through this tomato.
Yeah. So yes, she realizes, goddamn, these microbes are everywhere, literally in the class. But literally last ditch effort, Hail Mary argument here.
Dude.
She's like, we're still not on my cucumber though. Like, I get it.
My cucumber
The
isn't rotted. It's a
The
pickle.
yeast was in that shit in the Lost and Found box. The microbe was on Liz's nose. The gross microbes and amoebas and shit were in the hamster water. Yes, we're even standing right on microbes here on the tomato, but what the fuck does this have to do with my cucumber?
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but yeah.
Right. Invisible things exist, but again, how did that go cucumber to pickle?
Exactly. You're not
You're
explaining
still not
things.
tying it together.
So, yes. So the gang then makes their final stop so that they can finally set all of this to bed, prove their case, prove Miss Frizzle's innocence to Keisha. And that final stop is, of course, into the pickle jar in question, which should have been the first stop, but whatever. Miss Frizzle was obviously trying to make a point here. She's like, no, we still got 2 more hours of science today. Hey.
She's like, look, it's either I get to be out on this field trip or I'm locked up. Classically, if
I gotta make my full case.
If I divert and actually the body's over here, I thought. No, over here, I thought. She's just trying to get that.
No, that one witness who said they saw the gang member. It wasn't that bar that they usually go to. It's that one over
It wasn't
there,
Liz's water bowl. It was the hamster's water bowl. We gotta go. We gotta go to that one now.
It's crazy. I hope you're writing this down, jury. I hope you're getting all of it. I hope this isn't making things too confusing, such that a mistrial would perhaps
be inevitable.
Bad. Maybe. So, yes, they finally get to the pickle jar, though, and the bus flies right on in. And the students, they still have their scuba gear on, thankfully, because they get right on out and they dive their way down further into the jar to witness the pickling and preserving process in action. And while they're swimming down there, they also notice that some of the excess bits of like tomato fungus that were stuck onto the bus have also made their way into the pickling juice.
Interesting.
And so some of the fungus is like trying to attach itself to the pickle and like swimming or like floating through the water towards the pickle.
Yeah.
But the students notice something wonderful happen. They notice that as the fungus tries to latch onto and eat away at the pickle, it's instantly killed and attacked and then brushed away by another type of bacteria that's floating around in this pickle jar, naturally doing its job to protect and preserve. And the remaining bits of fungus that have also floated down through this jar, they're unable to withstand the pickle juice and the bacteria inside of it. And they eventually just all kind of dry up and shrivel and die and float towards the top of this jar and start to disintegrate away. And then only moments later, due to some background plot clumsiness that Liz is going through up on like the real world surface or the regular size world surface, she accidentally bumps another cucumber into this pickling jar.
Oh, okay.
And so the students are now able to see the way that the bacteria and the pickling juice reacts with this new cucumber that has just kind of entered the situation.
This is such a corrupt judge.
She knows what she's doing.
So corrupt.
Decide from the beginning, she knew Miss Frisk couldn't be found guilty because he was
Oh
going to
yeah.
take care of her then. She's like, oh, let me just push this pickle in here to
Oh
prove to
no.
you.
Achoo!
Achoo, bump. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Oh, what an accident.
But yes, so the students, they do have to like swim out of the way as this cucumber is like careening down to the bottom of the jar. But once
Uh-huh.
they swim to safety, they see all of the pickling bacteria swarm towards this new cucumber.
Mm.
And at first, they think that the bacteria is attacking the cucumber, which confuses them because they were like, wait, it just attacked the bad guy, being the fungus, but now it's attacking the good guy, the cucumber. What's going on here, Miss Frizzle? And so she explains to the students that no, the bacteria is actually helping to preserve and save this cucumber, just like it did when the fungus tried to eat at it a few minutes before, or tried to eat at the pickle at least a few minutes before. And so the jury is piecing all of this information together, realizing like, okay, fungus is bad because it rotted Arnold's tomato. But when fungus was met with pickling juices, the pickling juices kept it from rotting the pickle. And even when a new cucumber came in, those pickling juices kept it from rotting the new cucumber, just killed all the fungus. And so the jury realizes that but for this pickling juice, the cucumber would have just rotted like Arnold's tomato and like Wanda's carrot. And they now realize that the pickling juices and the bacteria inside of it actually stop things from rotting and they help get rid of fungus, thus preserving things. And in this case, turning them into a pickle, which, as we said before, and which, as Miss Frizzle says now, the pickle will last much, much longer than the cucumber will.
She says, "You're welcome."
You're welcome. Which, yeah, oh, trust me, there's some thanks that are given in just a moment. Just Keisha has to basically fall to her knees and forgive Miss Frizz here.
Yep.
But yeah, the Frizz then identifies these remaining bacteria in the pickling juices as the final members of the microbe gang. They may be small, but they make big changes in the world around us. They're constantly working to change things. And what they are called, she finally says now to the students, are microbes. And it's kind of funny because, like, to me, it seems like the students know what microbes are. Like they've already started this lesson or something. I guess they're just getting back from vacation. They're familiar with the words though, because as soon as she says microbe rather than robe, Dorothy Ann's like, oh, like microscopic. Oh yeah. Now I know what you're saying. It's like,
Dorothy,
really?
this judge is also corrupt. She wasn't fucking listening this whole time.
I was like, well, so yeah, she cannot hear. So we have one judge who doesn't know how to talk and another judge who clearly doesn't know how to listen. So
Great.
We're screwed. So, yeah,
Are they
sorry,
Supreme
Keisha.
Court justices? Crazy.
Yeah, it's a perfect encapsulation of the real world, how court works. Or at least how like panel courts work.
Yeah.
So yes, these tiny, invisible, microscopic creatures are clearly the cause of Keisha's cucumber. That was a lot of K sounds and C sounds. Did not even realize that until saying it out loud. But yes, they caused Keisha's cucumber to turn into a pickle. Arnold then tells the students, he gives his closing argument here.
Let's hear it.
Members of the jury, you've now seen with your own eyes that all around us is a world full of invisible microbes, including, and he's got a slideshow here too, amoebas, paramecium, asomycetes, fungus, which also, like I said, asomycete is a type of fungus, so this seems a little redundant to me, but whatever, but it's cool. And last but not least, pickle bacteria, which they don't name in this, so I'm not sure what actual.
All the technical names and then just pickle bacteria,
but not that one. And to be fair, that's the one other than I guess ascomycete that I would be most interested in learning about because I love pickling stuff. And I'm like, well, wait, what kind of bacteria?
It matters for
is
this
that?
case.
Yeah, exactly, because it's literally the one that most clearly changed the cucumber. But whatever, Miss Frizzle's like, yeah, you need to.
Just keep going. Explaining science to juries is hard and gets really boring and they lose interest.
You
keep going.
Bring in experts, exactly. They don't have a whole thing expert to bring in. It's a whole thing. So yes, Arnold then, oh, sorry. And he concludes his statement by saying, and each and every one of these is a member in good standing of the microbe gang.
Oh, good
And he
standing.
rests his case in good standing. And
Okay.
former members, they pay their dues. They are still dues paying members and they
Mm.
can be charged with this crime. So Arnold, he rests his case, satisfied both with his new understanding of microbes and with the jury's response to the evidence that was presented to them.
Mm.
And the students and the Frizz, they decide to wrap up their field trip. They pack all back up into the Magic School Bus and get out of their scuba suits. And they return to their normal size, ready to hear the jury convene and read out their final verdict.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How long is this
And of
deliberation?
course, 30
Weeks.
seconds at best, which is a very good sign for the defense, by the way. Like,
Oh yeah, Frizz is like kicking back.
I got this. She's already writing the next lesson plan. She's not even listening.
She's eating a pickle.
So, probably, actually, I think so. So, yes, of course, the jury finds the Frizz innocent of all charges and immediately lays blame on the microbes for turning the cucumber into a pickle, saying, Frizz, you're good. We know who really did this. Too bad. It's convenient that it's something that cannot be arrested, though.
And also
something that cannot face justice.
And that they decided to not convict on any of the charges, even though she's admitted to stealing still.
Yes.
She did admit to one crime.
Yes.
They overlooked.
Yes. And the reason why, and I'm not sure if Keisha sat with the jury for a second to explain the case or sat with Liz and Dorothy Ann to maybe plead to the court about maybe adjusting these charges or coming to a settlement or something, or being okay with all charges being cleared. Because, we do in the end see Keisha like profusely thanking Miss Frizzle and low-key actually calling her a hero, I think at one point.
Whoa.
Like how the tables have turned.
Keep an open mind, everyone. Keep an open mind.
Exactly. If Keisha can be moved, anyone can.
Exactly.
Minds can change. Okay. Yeah. Because yes, Keisha realizes that if the Frizz had not placed Keisha's cucumber, into the pickling brine when they all left school for vacation, it would have rotted and spoiled, just like Arnold's tomato, just like Wanda's carrot, and it would have been ruined forever. It would have been trash. Would have been wasted.
Trash.
So I do believe that seeing that like that agreement between all the parties now, Dorothy Ann and Liz were like, all right, we'll just dismiss all of the charges. Like we found that the Frizz isn't guilty for the one, we'll dismiss the other charge anyways. And at that point, now the class can applaud, knowing that the Frizz is innocent, having read, she's free, the chains have come off, the shackles are ripped. And so they celebrate this new knowledge of microbes and that they now have a whole bunch of new class treats, aka a closet full of pickles waiting for them to snack on.
Yeah.
And so that is the end of like the main part of the episode. But if you want to respond to that. Just
real quick if I'm Arnold, I'm immediately going up to Wanda and being like, Wanda, it's interesting how Frizz picked favorites and only saved one of the vegetables. I think we got a case on our hands.
It just
convinces her to take Frizz to court for not saving her carrots.
For why didn't you save? Negligence. This is negligence.
Exactly.
Frizz could have acted to save the pickle, but she chose not to. She had a duty to protect the pickle. She failed. She breached that duty.
Caretaker.
Exactly. As the caretaker, she breached that duty. Yeah. She could have done something to save it. I love pickled carrots. I actually pickle carrots all the fucking time. They're so good.
Well,
just saying.
Frizz doesn't.
Because pickled tomato I've never had. Actually, I have had pickled. I feel like I've had pickled tomatoes. Not bad, but pickled carrots are like the shit.
Are great. So Arnold's getting his next case ready, and he's switching sides. He's like, I know her schemes now.
Exactly. He's like, ethics be damned. Attorney-client privilege be fucking damned. I'm suing your ass for Wanda, Miss Frizzle.
Where's the wig, Liz? Put it back on.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're coming back for court tomorrow. Anytime students put on court, and I know this came out years before the other thing I'm going to reference, but I just
Okay.
always think about the episode of Bob's Burgers where the
I can't
students
remember
put,
it.
I think, Mr. Frond on trial for
Oh
like
no.
eating someone's yogurt. Or no, it's Mr. Frond's yogurt gets eaten by someone, I think, and
Oh,
like
and then he
Louise
does a
has to
trial to like
represent, yeah. And like Louise has to represent Mr. Frond, and then
amazing.
Jean is like the prosecutor or whatever. So it's just absolute chaos, but like
Perfection.
it's probably the best courtroom drama I've ever seen on
I've ever
TV,
seen.
that one episode of Bob's Burgers, and I always think of
Incredible.
that now
You're a lawyer,
when
so you
stuff
know.
like this happens. I know. I've got the experience. Never argued a court case in court a day in my life, but hey,
But
I
we
watch
watched
a
them.
lot of cartoons,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
but yeah, so that's the end of the main episode. And then we get the Ask the
Amazing.
Producer,
Yes.
which again, today's episode, the producer is again the male producer who was Malcolm
Hmm.
Jamal Warner, who we talked
R.I.P.
about last week. Rest in peace to him. Yes, he passed away a few weeks ago, as of our release of this episode.
Hmm.
But he gets a call from yet again another well actually little kid. I think this
Hmm.
one's a little girl. And he basically just explains to her like a whole bunch of other microorganisms that exist in our
Hmm.
everyday life and how most of them are actually harmless and helpful. Like I talked
Yeah.
about earlier, like there are microbes that make holes in Swiss cheese, which I love Swiss cheese. So love that microbe
Thank
too, I
you.
guess.
Yeah.
Thank
They're
you.
all over us.
They're everywhere, right? There's bacteria that turns milk into yogurt and sour cream. And I also love yogurt and sour cream.
I
Funny,
have
I don't
yogurt
like
every
milk
morning.
that much, but I eat Greek yogurt like
Same.
every fucking day. Sour cream is great. And then there's, yes, yeast that makes bread and pizza dough, which again, they had to find a way
Wow.
to get pizza in this episode. I swear to God, they think that kids care about nothing more than pizza. They're like, if you
Are they
mention
wrong?
pizza, the kids will remember the fact
They'll
about it.
learn.
Yeah. And they're right. They're right. Because that like resonates with the girl who's calling in. She's like, I love pizza. I
There you
know
go.
exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, that's basically the end.
Amazing. Wow.
Oh,
Great
thank you.
work. I'm thrilled to watch this courtroom drama. I cannot
It's
wait.
incredible. It's incredible.
Wow. Great work.
So
Judge Liz.
she's great. She's got the wig on.
Instead of the white wig, it's a Judge Judy wig on Liz.
I love it. Oh man, I love it. And I love Judge Judy so much. Like, I'm sure that as a person, there's so many things I disagree with her about, but she's a freaking icon.
Truly.
She's the best. And
put in the work.
I love that you just name dropped her too, because I just saw something of her online where she was wearing like a white suit and like a white fedora, Judge Judy was.
Hell yes.
I was like, hell yeah, sister.
Yes,
Hell
that's what
fucking
Liz
yeah.
is wearing after she takes those robes off. Wig still
That's
on.
what I imagine Liz in. Exactly. And it's too
Perfection.
good. Yeah, it's great. So
Judge
on that
Liz.
note, who should the wonderful listeners and viewers tell about this show and or podcast? Don't say it.
Think. No, I'm gonna go with my original one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with one I came up with before I thought of Liz in the Judge Judy wig.
Yeah.
Which was, so I can let you have that one. Which
Thank
was
you.
tell your fermenting friend. I don't know if you have a lot of friends who
nice.
do a lot of fermenting. We do, whether
Yes.
it be, making their own beer, pickling
Your
their
starters.
own things. Yeah, starters, kombucha, sourdough, all of the above. There's various types of
Yes.
fermenting. So tell a friend who ferments about this episode. They probably know every single one of those microbes, including the pickle microbes, the pickle bacteria.
Explain it to us, because this
show
episode didn't explain it,
glazed
and I would
over
like
it.
to continue pickling things with knowledge
Yes.
of what science I'm doing in the process. Yes.
Exactly. And who else should they tell, Alexis, about the show?
Let me think here. You should tell Judge Judy.
Hell yeah, you
Please tell
should.
Judge Judy
Please
about
tell
this
her.
podcast. Tell her. Ask her, did she resonate with Liz in this episode whatsoever?
listen to the
Did she resonate with
banter.
us, me and Grace? Was she an
Yeah.
annoying 30-year-old at one point too? 30-something
She absolutely was, obviously.
Probably. Yeah. If you're a judge, then at one point in your 30s, you were annoying somebody for
Yeah,
sure.
everyone.
And I mean that endearingly. You don't get to that place without cracking a few eggs, as Grace said before.
Exactly.
So breaking a few
Wow.
eggs.
Great work.
So,
great job.
Thank you. Thank you. And until next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.